So let's wait for a couple of minutes and then we will start our discussion. By the way, can you guys hear me clearly? Forgot to ask. Anyone please respond.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. So let's just wait for a couple of more minutes and then we'll start. Studies with you guys, just like the one that we discussed in last class. So, like as the subject is of professional ethics, so I will be sharing some case studies beyond the civil engineering as well, and we will have a discussion on those case studies. And then after that, we will have discussion on your assignment problems. Uh, I hope all of you guys have collected some data. Actually, I have received your assignments from your CR. So I will, like, each one of you would be describing that what type of unethical practices he or she has collected from the industry, either from client, consultant, or from contractor side. So that's what we plan to do today. Let's start with the case studies that I want to share with you guys. And for that, let me share my screen with you. All right, guys, can you see my screen now? The PowerPoint case study number 2. Anyone please respond?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, that's great. So case study number 2. The scenario is, let's say you are a lawyer. A client comes to you and asks to defend him. Through discussion, you find out that he is guilty. Will you defend him in the court or not? Why? So what do you think? If you are a lawyer and you are in this situation that a client comes to you and after discussion you find out that he is actually guilty, he has committed the crime. Now the question is that whether you should defend him in the court or not. So what will you do and what is the reason behind that? So let me come to the teams. All right. Anybody who would like to respond to this? So we need some volunteers, and if not, then I'll choose somebody. G. Tuba, please go ahead.
Sir, the lawyer should not defend because it's unethical to defend the wrong.
It's unethical to defend the wrong. Okay. So this is one perspective. Anybody who has a
So most of the times the people do defend that the guilty person because the guilty person have a lot of money which he can spend.
Which he can spend. Okay. So from the lawyer's perspective, you want to say that the lawyers want to make money, so that's why they defend guilty people. But is it fine, like, or is there any justification for this? Can we justify this?
That because of greed.
Because of greed. Okay, greed is like something negative, or can we give some positive justification? Okay, इसकी कोई positive justification भी हो सकती है? Can we justify it positively that yeah, this
Sir,
is
how can
justified?
you justify a negative thing in a positive manner?
Okay, okay. So you think there is no positive justification for this? Okay. All right. Anybody else having it? Yes, Nasir, go ahead.
Sir, in some cases, the lawyer can be pressurized.
Okay. All right. So you are saying that sometimes lawyers are under pressure, and client puts pressure on the lawyer to defend him. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That happens sometimes. All right. Effectively present his case in front of the judge or jury, so that whatever benefit he can get out of that situation, it's his right to get that benefit. So having this opportunity to get defended in front of court is a right, and the person, the client, will not be able to get that right unless a lawyer agrees to defend him. So in that perspective, that can be a sort of justification of this. Otherwise, yeah, there is definitely an unethical aspect to this as well, because what happens is that when a lawyer is defending his client, then and he knows that the client is guilty, but lawyer's job is not to expose the wrongdoing of the client. His role is to defend the client. So in that process, he might, or he, I can say probably he will surely try to conceal some truth, some facts, and that is the unethical part of it. So okay, so let's see what do we have on slides. So if you defend him in the court, it is unethical in terms of ethics. That the lawyers, it's like defending people that's the duty, or that's a job of a lawyer, and that's how they make money or they earn their livelihood. So if they get into a lot of pick and choose, then they might not be able to earn their livelihood. So in that perspective, that is somewhat justified. and practically people all the time. So, however, if you do that, what will be wrong? Wrong is concealing the truth for your own benefit. Like, as I said earlier, that if a lawyer is defending a guilty person, he will definitely conceal the truth, and that is unethical. One should not do that. Okay. All right. So next we have another case study, and in this scenario, let's say you want to buy a piece of land to construct office building. Someone is selling a piece of land for 5 millions, let's say. You don't have 5 millions, you only have 4.5 millions. What should you do? What can be ethical or unethical scenarios in this case? Okay, anybody?
Sir, me Nasir Ahmed.
Ji Nasir, go ahead.
Sir, he should pay 4.5 million now, and they have an agreement that I will pay 0.5 million after a year or two.
Okay, that's an ethical situation if they come on.
Agree.
They reach. Whatever you want to buy, you bargain, and bargaining is totally fine. There is nothing unethical with bargaining. So any unethical practice that happens in such cases that people do.
Sir, forcing the seller to sell that piece in the low price, or sir, spreading rumors about that place in the market,
Spreading.
so that no buyers would be interested in that piece of land. So you are the only option.
Yeah, that's something that happens. That people spread rumors about different things that they are interested in, and they try to defame that property or that thing just to manipulate the situation in their own favor. Yes, that is true. That happens. Okay, anybody else? Danish Aslam.
Yes, sir.
Danish, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? How do people manipulate such situations?
सर या तो उनको कुछ लोन बारो कर लेना चाहिए इथिकल बिहेवियर में तो.
ओके, ये तो एथिकल हो गया, ठीक है.
और अनइथिकल में सर मीन के थोड़ा सा उनको सब प्रेशराइज करना चाहिए कि मुझे लो कर दे, जितनी है हमारे पास उसमें ही मैनेज कर.
अच्छा, प्रेशराइज एक तो एक तो लेजिटिमेट प्रेशर है, आप बार्गेन करके किसी इंसिस्ट कर रहे हैं एक चीज पे. Even that is, I won't say that is very unethical, but
मीन सर वो नहीं देना चाह रहा इतने में, आप उसको इरिटेट कर रहे हैं कि दें हमें इतने में ही.
Okay. Yeah, that's
वो थोड़ा सा अनइथिकल.
थोड़ा सा अनएथिकल, a little bit of unethical. Okay, जी Nasir.
Sir, using your some higher references.
Actually,
political parties.
The references, and normally these references work in case of public sector organizations. However, in private sector or in private setting, normally sometimes people go for abusive or threatening behavior. That is something that we observe. That kind of pressure, that is unethical, or that is actually illegal. Or is there any other way to manipulate the situation? Is there any other way? Like one was about the rumors.
सर कब्जा कर ले.
कब्जा कर ले, हाँ, ये अनएथिकल भी है और इलीगल भी है, वेरी ब्लंटली. लाइक ये तो बिल्कुल एक हम इलीगल जोन में चलेंगे ना. ये होता है, you rightly pointed out, कैसा भी होता है, that is illegal and unethical for sure. Okay. Usama Rauf.
Yes, sir.
Ji, what are your thoughts on this? क्या है?
Sir, we can pressurize them, and this is the situation, sir. I think.
क्या करें, प्रेशर डालें और
सर ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं ना, जो वहाँ पे जगह खरीदने आ रहा है हम उसको भी प्रेशराइज करेंगे, आपने ये 5 की नहीं लेनी है।
ये भी एक sometimes happens. Okay, anyways, all right, thank you. So let's see what do we have here. So unethical, one unethical approach may be, it's close to what owner of the land for 1 million and 4.3 million. Now what happens is that owner gets an impression that, oh, I cannot get 5 million for this because probably I'm asking a bit higher than the market rate, and then he gets convinced to sell you the same piece of land for 4.5 million. So that's the way of manipulating the situation that actually yeah, uh, uh, maybe that was not true. The 5 million price that was asked asked price 5 million was okay according to the market rate. You are not professionals, you are students. Got a case study from your academic life as well. And it has 5 problems. You study with your friend. Solution of problem 3 is wrong. There is nothing. So what do you think? In this situation,
the thing which is wrong from our
might be happen even without group study.
okay. You see, when different people do a certain task independently and individually, most of the time they don't commit exactly the same mistake, or their procedure is slightly different. So when different people do the same thing independently, their work can be easily differentiated. Exactly same work happens only when you do it together. Anyways, now there is a difference of opinion on this actually. Some people may say that, oh, this, if we are studying in the form of a group, then it's fine to do that. And even if we have same mistakes, that's fine. But from a teacher's perspective, what we expect is that, as a couple of students pointed out, that it's better to study together. Group study is good, but it's better to do your assignment problems independently and individually, because your assignments are evaluated just like your we evaluate your exams, and then you get credit out of it. So you get the credit for your individual understanding. So solving the assignment problem in the form of a group is probably not the best idea. That's the other perspective. Okay. So studying in group is okay. Some people may say that solving homework together is unethical, because your homeworks are meant to be to test ability and understanding of an individual student, just like an exam. So the solution is you study together, but you solve your homeworks independently. So this wasn't allowed. All right, so here are some of the I assigned is to review and you guys companies, either consultant, contractor, or client, and the unethical practices of the other two companies. So now I would like to hear that from you guys, that what type of or what unethical practices you could gather. So any volunteers for that, or should I point out somebody? Okay, any volunteer for sharing his or her data? Okay, Nasser, G.
Sir, the first point is project safety from both the contractors as well as clients.
Okay.
That sometimes client forces the contractor to make the project. Or
Nasser, which organization did you contact? Contractor?
Sir, no, sir. Yes, sir.
No, I'm asking which organization did you contact? Contractor, consultant, or client?
Sir, none of them actually.
None of them. Why?
Sir, I just searched it from a contractor's website.
Contractor's website, but it was like I really wanted you guys to find some connection in the field and get the information what's going in our society. Like sometimes.
Yes, sir, I have those points actually, and I have witnesses them by myself also.
Okay. So what are your points?
Sir, the first point is project safety.
Okay.
Sometimes client forces the contractor to make the project regardless of its safety as well as its proper use during its lifetime. And from the contractor's point of view, what they do unethical is that they don't care much about the safety of the workers. They provide the safety equipments to the worker and they happily put it for 1 or 2 days, and then they just don't care about it while working on greater heights.
Okay.
And so they don't take care about the dengue spread as by instructions given to them. The site engineer over that site just says that when they came visit us, we just give them bribe and give them a meal and they just go.
Oh, okay.
The dengue checking, you can say team.
Okay. Well, Corona is more relevant these days, huh?
सर कोरोना तो सर हमारी जो कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट्स पे तो नहीं ना है, लेकिन सर कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट पे सर पानी बहुत ज्यादा है, तो सर पानी के रिलेटेड तो ज्यादा डेंगू और मलेरिया.
Okay, अच्छा. Okay. All right. What else?
Sir, poor quality. Sir,
Poor
sometimes
quality.
client give poor quality of the work performed by the contractor to get to save some money to get more profits, and sometimes the client give lesser money as demanded by the contractor after the agreement, and it causes sometimes conflict between them.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next, Tuva. Please go ahead.
Sir, I have gathered data from case studies of various organizations from client point of view.
Okay.
Sir, the contractors usually omit items and they use substandard materials not according to the design and as asked by the design requirements. Um, One of the studies showed that in UK, a building collapsed, and later the reason found was that there was not enough reinforcement in the foundation. Uh, Apart from that, the contractors not ensure the well of laborers. They might hire illegal migrants. They hide
Illegal
defects.
immigrants.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So they often
Okay.
pay bribes to client representative and consultants to hide the defects from the clients. And
Yeah. This. Okay. Before we move on, this hiring of illegal immigrants. This problem is more prominent in the developed countries because there are more number of illegal immigrants there. For example, in the United States, there are a lot of illegal immigrants. So when you hire illegal immigrants, you have to pay them less, and they don't claim any rights or anything because they are already in a vulnerable situation, and it's easier for the contractor to exploit them. That's how. That's why contractors hire illegal immigrants. However, in developing countries, we don't have a large number of illegal immigrants, uh, but still, that's a problem. And um, as you mentioned about one case study in which, like, the steel was deficient in foundation, and that caused the collapse. So that might be a technical mistake, uh, or you can also relate it to one like the ethics issue, because yeah, if the work ethic is not good and people don't do their work with responsibility, then they commit such mistakes. So in that sense, probably it might be related to, yeah, the ethics as well, or in some of the cases this might be totally a technical issue, technical
yes,
mistake. Okay, go ahead.
sir, some of the major unethical practices of consultants were uh, more billing, like charging more than the actual worked hours, and the disclosure of the confidential and trust from the client. And
Like
misuse,
how can a consultant have conflict of interest with a client?
sir.
Can you explain?
Sir, while working for a particular client, he might be involved in some other project as well, and he consumed the resources of one client, and such as, like, take for example, the cover or the time given to one client in the working and performance of the other project and looking after that. So it causes a conflict of interest and not being at a time.
Okay, this all right. Okay,
Sir,
right.
also the consultant
Okay,
should be clear about their expertise. Sometimes they just give guidelines beyond that, and that cause a failure or collapse to the building and client as well.
okay, fine. Anybody
That's
else?
from my side, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, Asad Rahman. Asad.
Yes, sir.
Ji Asad. So, what information did you collect?
Sir, collect bribery. मतलब they get money from sport to get something constantly. This is most common case. And second one that I can say that is overbilling कर लेते हैं सर अक्सर वो contractors.
overbilling किस तरह करते हैं, क्या मतलब overbilling का?
सभी जाके एक चीज तो मार्केट से कंपनी प्राइस लो बिल
ओके ठीक है
सर ये और जब बिडिंग होती है तो उसमें वो कर लेते हैं बिडिंग लो प्राइस की बिडिंग शो करवा देते हैं और उसके बाद फिर वो ऐसा भी हो सकता है सर कि वो अपनी जो बिड है उसको करवा लेते हैं
this is an unethical practice that they do. Up mic on, speaker on. I think I can hear my voice again. So this unethical practice is that the contractors at the time of bidding they quote really low price to win the contract, and later on they come up with some expenses that they have not shown in the initial contract, and they try to make money that way. So like at the initial stage, even if they know that there will be certain expenses that they'll have to make in future, but they don't show those expenses in the initial bid, and the purpose is to keep their bid low and get the contract. But once they have won the contract, then at the latest stages they keep adding and that
money laundering.
Okay. So this money laundering a bit beyond the scope of the thing, but this is in our country. Now, money laundering. Whenever you want to transfer money from one country to the other country, there is a legal way to the banking channel. But in that case, you have to pay tax. Okay. So what people do, they do the money laundering. Money laundering means that they like transfer the money in a hidden way. For example, while traveling through the airplane or something like that. When you travel through the airplane, there is a certain cash limit. For example, I know this for United States. If you are traveling from Pakistan to United States, the amount of cash that you can carry is $10,000. That's the limit. If you are carrying more than $10,000, then you have to explain that or give reason or like pay tax for that. Otherwise, if you are carrying less than $10,000, then it's fine. But in case of money laundering, people like transfer millions of dollars, and the point is they don't pay. And secondly, sometimes that money is not white money; it's like black money. They have earned that money illegally, and then they just want to take it out of the country. So that is an issue, but that's probably beyond the professional ethics issue. Okay, anyways, go ahead. What else? Yes, do you want to say something?
They can also, sir, they can also put some false claims like that there is an extra cost at the field work. So means that false claims they put on the client.
Right, that's true. Sometimes contractors make false claims for the extra work. That's right. Okay, Nasir, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
जी.
सर अगर कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्टर फर्म है वो सर क्लाइंट से वो प्रोजेक्ट लेती है उससे पैसे ले लेती है लेकिन सर क्लाइंट का वो ब्लैक मनी है जो कि अब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के पास आया है तो सर ये कॉन्ट्रैक्टर की टर्म में कोई अनएथिकल या इलीगल एक्शन होगा या नहीं होगा?
देखिए, if contractor is receiving the money through proper channel, like there is an agreement and contractor has done some work and he's getting the payment, then it's not the contractor's headache that how the client has earned that money. So for contractor, that's totally fine. It's the client's headache. How did he earn that money and how is he spending that money? So even if it's black money from the client side, but if contractor has done some work and received payment against that, then that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong in that. All right. Okay. Kamil. Kamil, are you there? Kamil HAX2K. I would suggest you guys to write down your proper name on your teams instead of writing down this random things. Okay, anyways, are you there?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so क्या आपने अपनी assignment पे report किया?
Sorry, actually, one of the consultants contacted